getting more significant rain events now, and we need to design things. So-
1 in
so-
100 years
yeah,
is not realistic
is not,
anymore.
like-
It's just not
Yeah, so I mean,
frequent.
what the climate change is, you have to adjust for it by the factor, so either
Okay,
you pick A, the simplest, and you say it's 15% more than I would have to have done before, so I don't know how that relates to 1 in 10 versus 15%, I don't know.
They look pretty,
But
pretty
that's
round.
essentially what the climate change piece is supposed to do, is say, we know it's changing, and either you can add a safety factor, or you can use more detailed methods of trying to
okay,
adjust.
that's what
climate
that,
change, so
what
that's
we
what
were
it's
talking
trying to
about,
do.
that's what, okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
But so much of this is runoff analysis and things like that, and I go, we don't want it to run off.
Right.
That's all good.
Keep it on site.
Anyway, those were most of my comments. Has anybody got more? Mark?
So throughout the document, there's a lot of references to the approving officer consulting with design engineers, professional engineers, and the superintendent of public works. I think in a lot of these cases, I don't see anywhere where the manager of parks and environment, sorry to create more work for you, but it seems a lot of what we've been discussing could be captured by involving the manager of parks and environment in the process.
Yeah.
Especially
Because
since
when
she
you
does
have-
bylaws.
It's only, as I go back to, unified lens or union
Right.
lens
Mhm.
is not how we work today in our world.
Right.
Decisions or solutions to problems are not solved through union lens
Yeah.
analysis, I believe. That's my personal opinion.
You have a professional engineer who has spent their career and education on learning pipe sizes and 1 in 100-year rate events. And fair enough, they don't know about
Yeah.
bioswales. But to have another point of view, another perspective, and to involve the environmental aspect in the decision-making process and the approval process, I think would be helpful.
I mean, I know, because we have to decide who was gonna decide all the different things. So public works is generally anything that is, it's like a lot of the water and the sewer stuff in terms of taking over the pipes. But then throughout, generally, it's like approving officer. I don't think it refers to the planner or planning department
No, it doesn't.
throughout either, right? And so the idea is the approving officer, as part of their, like professional mandate, is to consult with the municipality as part of it. So even, a couple things we're talking about, like trail locations and stuff, it says, okay, where the municipality says or municipal plans say, but generally it's the approving officer, and sort of implied or implicit that as part of the approving officer's decision making,
She's gonna consult
that they're
with staff.
referring, yeah.
But there's actually language, like in the stormwater management, there's a line that says the approving officer has to certify a stormwater management plan after consulting with the superintendent of public works.
Yeah.
So I would include the manager of parks and environment in that she would have to, like, it'd actually be written in there that the approving officer has to consult with the manager of parks and environment.
That's the decision. That's
Or
the decision.
or applicable staff. Because staff, well, that's not plural necessarily, is it? But I just, yeah.
Rather than being restricting, what you're saying is you don't want it to restrict it to just consult this one type of person, type of staff person.
Well, I think
Yeah.
in a, like, if for stormwater management, you should have someone who is a PN who has been trained in the use of natural systems, and they're out there.
Yeah.
And that should be involved in the design and the testing of the compliance and the whole deal. But at the end of the day, when approval has to come down and the approving officer has to consult with the superintendent of public works, they should also have to consult with the manager of the environment for the
Okay, I
municipality.
think we've got your point. You've got that captured.
Yeah.
Steph, great. And then anybody else before we leave it, because I want to move on.
I'm just wondering whether having something that sets the context, it seems to me that all the things we're talking about here is that we need this document needs to have the overall tone change to sort of building on what you were saying, Mark, about and Bonnie, about the that robust solutions, the data is coming in, that robust solutions for managing these sorts of things come from disciplinary
Right,
lens.
exactly.
And that's what we want to aim for, is to have a robust, long-lasting, resilient results. So how do we get that? We get that by not looking at things in a narrow way, but we consult.
An
You know,
integrated,
and integrate.
interdisciplinary
Yes,
approach.
approach. So I wonder, is it possible to add something at the beginning of the document, sort of making that statement, and that natural systems are always preferred,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe I missed it,
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, I think we should be progressive and
yeah.
not, you know,
And it's-
we're not just
it's-
any
Because this is gonna
municipality.
matter, I mean, this is really gonna make a big difference.
Yeah.
This is one of the most important documents we will ever see, I think.
Is that something, where, you know, could go in here somewhere?
Yeah.
Purpose of the bylaw, definition, severance, compliance, duty of care, incorporation.
Well,
Yeah, it doesn't sort of have a guiding principles or something like that, right?
well, I think it might fit into the whereas, right, part.
Which page are you on?
That's page 31 of 139. In the very beginning, it says, whereas council may by bylaw regulate.
Oh, yeah.
And then this is where there could be something where it says that what we were just talking about.
Multidisciplinary, integrated approach.
Yeah, and then nature,
Based on natural systems?
are they?
Favoring.
I mean, that's what they're saying now, like I know on the east coast of the states, there's certain places where, this is more around hardened infrastructure on shorelines, but you have to prove to us that actually a living shoreline or a nature-based solution does not work.
Yeah.
And if that does not work, then we'll consider some of these other things, but,
I like it.
yeah, well, because, yeah. Yeah.
Because it does work.
I mean, the data's really coming in so that these, I mean, totally makes sense. And they can be engineered, it doesn't mean that as you were
Well,
saying,
yeah.
it's not like we're throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah,
So,
it's not just a system where you just dig a hole and like let things, I mean, there's procedures and
yeah,
designs that
there's
have
the
to happen,
science
for
and the
sure.
designs, yeah, so,
Or
Can
you
we-
could- Or even maybe a combination of natural and engineered solutions,
Yeah.
just, you know, something to that effect.
well, I mean, I think for the most part, we're saying that the preferred choice is the nature-based solution,
Yeah.
and that, you know, we recognize there's times when that doesn't work, usually because there's not room for something like that, like physically you can't do it, but.
I like your language of prove to us that the natural system doesn't work, and then, like, that's,
See, you had good words too, Marks. Earlier you said, well, they can be a professional engineer if they have expertise in. You just had some good word there. If it comes to you, let me know.
Nature-based solutions or
No, I was
natural
thinking that.
natural
systems.
systems.
Maybe that's what it was.
I've got so many good ones.
yeah,
I
maybe.
can't- I just can't pull it
He's
out.
got the good words.
Also, DG, if you have some, like some recent studies or some overview studies that that show that this is the new way coming in,
Right,
if you have a couple of references that
okay,
you've come across, that would be great if you could send them
right.
to
As
us
an action item?
and to Daniel. Yeah.
And I recently did a wetland course, and I know someone who has installed a stormwater wetland over in Duncan. So I'm hoping to get over and have a look at that and get some information from her about it,
Mhm.
see how that works.
Sure, any of this stuff. What's the timeline on this one, Daniel?
It came to council in end of October.
Yeah?
It got referred to Parks and Trails, to BIMTAC, and to the committee we didn't form, whatever it was.
Yes.
Yes, Improved Services Task Force or something, that,
Oh, that
but
we
nobody
don't have
applied
a-
to our ads,
yeah.
so it never got formed.
Yeah.
So I imagine, I don't know if we're trying to bring it back in January or February.
Right. So it might be something that we would want to get our remarks any extra remarks,
Yeah.
well, we'll have a meeting.
Actually, having said that, I know we have like a workshop booked end of January with people, so it wouldn't be till
Wouldn't be before
February.
that. Oh, good.
Yeah.
So we could, so bring any future ideas to the next meeting.
Sure.
And maybe this will serve as a way to get into it. How about that?
Yeah, my sense is that it needs a lot of work,
Yes.
actually,
Yeah.
like a
With
lot
the
of work.
developers.
With the developers,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I
And in
think,
part
Well,
to be
Bonnie
like,
was saying that
this
it's
is
more, it's
changes
more
to-
a template that's,
Well, it's probably, I mean, I don't know that for sure, but I mean, it's sort of, I think it's probably fairly standard. I mean, I think that they have done a
Mhm.
fairly good job in try to bonize it.
So I
a
know,
little bit.
yeah, a lot of like the standards, especially like the road and that little
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
came from a previous, like somebody previously, a consultant previously did a whole bunch of our standards,
Yeah,
5 years ago or 10 years ago or
10
something,
years.
and then it sat, and then
Yeah.
then the urban systems came and
Brent.
did it.
is it Brent?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then urban systems then took it and they took some stuff and they sort of, did the complete package, but yeah.
As it was described to us at the committee of the whole, this would be our first one, and it was kind of legitimizing current practice.
To some, yeah,
So the question is, we need it. This is me speaking from a council perspective. We need it. But me speaking with my Parks, Trails, and Greenways hat on, I'm going, do we really want to cement in all the
Exactly.
past?
Well, and the thing is,
Right.
just knowing with our municipality, we don't have a lot of staff resources. So when we have a bylaw, I mean, we're working with bylaws that are from pre-incorporation or time of incorporation.
They don't get
and
updated.
It's really tricky to update them. So,
Right.
yeah, so
But,
it's.
so are you saying it's better to get it right the first time?
Yeah.
Because it might be many
Right, might be a
years.
long time, yeah,
But,
because of lack of
but it
resources,
sounds
yeah.
like Daniel has, it sounds like there'll be input from the developers, input from the committees, and,
Yeah, so let's, at the next meeting, I'll put it on the agenda again, and we can, by that point, maybe, Bonnie, can you just send around the link to whichever Gibson's document you think would be best? And that's another action item, and then we can all look at these things before the next meeting, and see if we can give some more specific or general, whatever we want, comments we want to pass along to Daniel. Because it sounds like he's gonna get other kinds of comments too, and then, which makes sense. And then you'll be
Yeah.
finding the balance and what's gonna work for us in our island municipality. So,
And I
okay.
know some of it, so this bylaw, it hasn't received readings from council, it was just introduced, so we have to go, when we go back to council readings, I don't know if we'll do a second round of
Consultation
at
again.
that point or not. Yeah, but that could well, I mean, ultimately that's council's choice, but I think we'll have to see even how many comments we have and how we
Yeah,
splice it all back together and see.
Mhm.
what
Yeah.
happens,
Yeah.
it's an interesting one, because it has been started
It's
and
a
dropped
huge- yeah.
before,
Yeah.
you know?
It's big in it,
yeah.
like when I started here 2.5 years ago, I think my first week I had a meeting about this, and that was being led by Al and Kristen. Neither of whom are so it's good.
Yeah,
So just the process, are any of these edits are going to be made before it goes back to council, or they will be made on council's direction?
I think staff will have made edits,
Okay.
and then we may have them, because it hasn't even received readings yet, so I guess
Yeah.
probably we'll bring
so
it
this
like
is
a
pretty,
red
this is
line.
pretty early, so I
Yeah.
think we can just pass these comments on to staff.
Yeah,
I have one more comment,
Oh,
and then I'm
okay.
done, and then I swear to God.
Okay?
At first, I wanted to say, like, a lot of the points that I had up have already come up. That's awesome, I think. But we have never talked about invasive species, which can come up once in this document. And under the environmental auspice, I think, environmental species and the spread of the species that are on site and
Yep.
not moving new invasive species onto the site needs to be addressed as
It
well.
has best management practices a lot, BMPs, and BMPs is kind of like a really, when I see that, I get nervous, because what BMPs, but yeah, I don't know if it's really, this is the place for,
I think it is.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, at the very least, I
Some
think,
best management practices, because we know that, yeah,
Building roads and trails and.
It's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
soil
Yeah.
deposition, yeah,
Yeah.
the gravel, yeah, the seeds, and where did that gravel come from?
Well, and the base, right, the dirt, so this is something that Metro Vancouver's own regional planning, I think Claudia's husband, is in the environmental subcommittee, and it's a big deal with fill, right? With fill and the, like, fire ants are coming and all sorts of things coming in the fill, and so, yeah, when you have the basis for roads and even in gravel, right?
This is why it's sometimes better to use bark mulch. But anyway, okay, so thanks, everybody. That's a great comment to end on. As Greg, we gotta remember the invasive species. And I'll put the subdivision and services bylaw on the next agenda too, so you might get some more comments, but this, you'll get a taste, you've got a taste of what we're thinking about. And,
We always
thank you
have
very
ideas.
much. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, Daniel. Appreciate your patience.
Okay, so, I think that's most of the bigger, harder stuff, and you can skip through this now. That was 4.1 and 4.2. We're on to the business arriving now, 5.1. So here, I just wanted to do a little report. I'm gonna keep this shorter because now we're at 8:30. There's a few links that you've got there on your, I gotta pick it up on here now. On your agenda, partly because I think we had them on another agenda, but anyway, the draft regional conservation plan is from the Islands Trust. And that link, if I can find it, here. Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna say that it has some Bowen-specific info at the back and goals that the Islands Trust proposes for conservation. And I won't go into my files and dig them out here because I thought I had it ready to go. Oh, wait, maybe I do. 1 second. Didn't know where to put it. Under upcoming Islands Trust. No. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll bring it to the next meeting. What it is I thought it might be relevant to the Parks Plan, Bonnie, because it has specific Bowen conservation objectives and specific Bowen measurements of this and that kinds of sensitive ecosystems in it, and it's new, so you wouldn't have seen that one yet. So I'll just refer that to Bonnie for the Parks Plan and any of that kind of planning. But partly just to let you guys know that info was out there if anybody wanted it. And then the other links there, Kate Emmings is the ecosystem manager for the Islands Trust Fund, which is the group that owns, for example, Singing Woods Nature Reserve and our other nature reserves on the island. And so she's the kind of expert scientist, and her report is in there. And Jennifer Eliason is her boss, the manager of Islands Trust Fund. So there's just a little bit about the conservation side of things, the sensitive ecosystem management, the eelgrass, and some of the more recent things that they've been looking into. And in the appendix of the draft regional conservation plan, you'll find a few pages about both. And council passed that. We supported it, endorsed it, and whatever, what did we do to it?
I just received it,
actually.
We just received it, yeah, that's right. I don't think they needed our endorsement, they were gonna do it anyway, but that we just received it. Okay. And then, so skipping past that, just letting you know that there's info there if you want it. 5.2, Parks Plan, Claudia, I think later we've got some updates and Bonnie was going to update us on it anyway. Do we?
Oh, well,
No, we don't. Okay,
okay.
go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up a concern. We, at the Committee of the Whole, the presentation was excellent. Near the end, a couple of councillors had some objections to items within the plan. And in particular, Allison Morris had a number of more serious objections. And the way it was left was that those were going to be addressed. You were going to work with her a bit on what those were. So my concern, and I don't know if I'm too late with this, is that there'll be changes made to the document, maybe weakening the document based on some individual counselors' points. And then when it comes back to council, they've already quite thoroughly gone through it. Are they going to go through it and notice what changes there are? So I was hoping that there could be a document of changes to show, you know, this was taken out, this wording was significantly altered. I mean, not typos, obviously, but where there are,
Yeah, definitely, because
change
council
document.
will want to see that. So,
Good.
so where I'm at with it, Claudia, and, you know, sitting down with Councillor Morris after, she's been really helpful, actually, and so she's giving me some edits. And when we get right down to it, I think by softening language and clarifying some things, that I don't think the context or the information within the plan will change too dramatically. So, yeah, although she hasn't got to the second part of the document yet, which is the natural capital section, etc. So, but definitely because council is going to want to see what we've changed, and they want to make sure that their points have been incorporated. Now, I will change things, but if there is a dramatic difference, I will not change it, and I'll have to keep it consistent with what we heard through the public consultation and bring that forward to council. And there's a few members of council, and you know, so I'll be, you know, we'll be discussing it, but I can't make every single change because I have to be sort of weigh, okay, can I soften this with language? Can we just kind of tweak it a bit to sort of make it okay for everybody? But where we can't, then I have to go back. I have to go back to the process. So it's a juggling act, but and so right now I'm just got so many other things, but I am doing edits slowly. I'm making a list of the changes. Then we are going to. I'm going to send it once I've got it all edited. I'm going to send it to the working group to look at, and at that point, you know, there might be some typos, hopefully, not some big major things. And so then just you can have one final look. And you'll see, well, I'm just going to do some edits at that time, just because it's been very busy. So, and then that will be the document that I will then take forward to committee of the whole, a second committee of the whole. And hopefully, at that committee of the whole, hopefully the committee of the whole will recommend that council adopt the plan. And then it would have to go to council, or then I think actually they were going to probably, I have to check, because it needs to go to BIMTAC, it has to go to a few committees, the rec commission, so probably after the edits, maybe, I don't know the order of things. It will go to the committees, whether it's after the committee of the whole or before the committee of the whole. And then I'm hoping final adoption by February at some point.
See,
So that's gonna be process.
it's a fascinating time for me. I'm going, okay, how am I gonna do this? Because I've got this big fat subdivision servicing file.
her.
Well, yeah, because it relates to the Parks and Trails plan, and it also relates to the integrated transportation plan. And wouldn't it be nice if all of them meshed together and they didn't conflict or go sweeping past each other? So this is what I'm kind of going, when will I carve out that week? So, but anyway, thank you for the question.
Yeah.
And, but I think, yeah, that's
Great.
good.
It's good to
And
hear.
if we hear places where there's sort of conflicting visions, then council will want to know.
And probably that could be on a committee of the whole agenda, so that would be a public document, and the changes of how.
That'd be great, yeah.
And you said you would give the changes to the working group? What about this committee?
Do you want to join the working group for the Parks plan? Are you not on that?
I'm not on that, no.
Well,
Can
maybe
I?
you could talk to Bonnie afterwards.
It's just a subgroup of this group.
Yeah, it
Okay.
may have,
Christine.
it may have started before you joined us.
Oh,
It did.
it
Oh, yeah.
totally did, yeah.
Yeah, so just talk to Bonnie.
Okay.
Okay, that's great. Keeners unite. No, I just mean, if somebody's
Could that be
interested.
our slogan?
No, that's my,
That's the opposite
That's
of
your
an
slogan.
oxymoron. It's just-
20, that's my 20
What do
minutes
you
to
mean that's
9,
an
I gotta get
oxymoron?
going.
It's the opposite. It's so opposite. They're so the same meaning. It almost opposite
Keeners
itself.
can unite.
They totally unite.
All the time.
Keenly.
Okay. Bonnie, 6.1, Mount Gardner Skid Trail Connector.
Just a really, just a quick update. So we're working with the Crown province, with Metro Vancouver. There was this money set aside, this $10,000 for Hikers Trail, way back when, like quite a few years ago, 2008 or something. That was set aside for the Hikers Trail.
Oh no. I'll send you some info on that. I think it might be different, but anyway, I'll check.
Yeah, so we're working with Metro and Mount Gardner, or the province, to do this neat little connector. So from the picnic area at Clarny, up through the forest to the skid trail. So that right now people, they have to walk up Hikers Trail Road and then go in that way. So now this is just a beautiful little connector that goes through the woods. So people,
Can
if
you
they-
show us where that is? Because I had somebody stop me on the trail to talk about it.
Does that go through the David Otter Preserve?
No, we don't. We go
Clarny-
quite far away from
So
it.
here's
Yeah.
the Clarny Lake picnic
It's
area.
in that, yeah.
So that's the picnic area. So it goes, where am I now?
Here's David Otter.
So it goes up,
Yeah.
so that's the picnic area, right?
Through the old bike
So-
park?
Yeah,
Mm.
so then, and what's this here?
That's
That's
the road.
That's,
road.
No, that's the
This is
trail.
the
The
road.
ridge
Oh,
is
that's
the
the
road.
okay, so I go
Yeah.
across,
Okay.
we go across the
So this is
road and up through here and up to here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the person I talked to today was saying, why didn't you come right up from where the, apparently there's still some mountain bike people that had some really high jumps in there, and come over and connect to Hikers Trail Road instead of going through the wetland or something. But maybe it's because you have to go west.
There's no wetland.
There's no wetland, that's all.
Yeah, there's no
It's pretty
wetland.
steep.
It's actually
Yeah.
kind of nice
Well,
country.
it's just a beautiful, mature
Beautiful
sort of
slope.
fern, and
Yeah.
it's a gentle grade,
Yeah.
so horses could do.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense coming from
Horses could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you just have to stay on the trails and go up there, yeah.
Okay. And I'll just check in my files, Bonnie, because I think that was something that was, anyway, I don't know what it is, but I'll check.
Yeah, so
I thought it was for something
We're
else.
just working with them, trying to organize, it's not on municipal property, but just working together to try to.
And that is to try to solve what problem, or is it just to add?
It's because the Hikers Trail Road, there's some, it's just not a nice sort of entrance to the Crown Lands.
Right.
And there's, people, the hikers have to go up the road, and then there's, people living there, and there's parking issues, and there's people scrapping cars, and it's just not a nice entrance to the Crown Lands.
Through the little subdivision.
So will there be a parking issue though, if people are hiking up Mount Gardner and parking at the picnic tables?
Could be.
There is already.
But they could also, yeah, it could be. But then they also could walk so much better from the it's all sort of flat road, so I don't know.
You know, the interesting thing is that I think that part where the old bike park was, is Crippen Regional Park.
Yeah,
So
so
there's
there's that
already
behind that, that's where you go through the old.
So you go
bike park.
through part
Oh,
of
this
Crippen
is-
Regional Park, right,
Yes,
and
yes.
then onto Crown
Okay,
Lake.
gotcha, sorry. Christine?
Yes, this is what this is proposed to talk about, so you're not put two separate things
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, I shouldn't mention that, it's,
Okay, good. All right, and an action item is for me to send Hikers Trail Fund info to Bonnie. Please. Thank you. And Fairy Fan, I just wanted to let the group know from the AGM of the Bonan Conservancy that I was at, and some of you were at, that Fairy Fen, which Terry is, doesn't show on this map,
Oh,
but
she
it's
knows
a,
it.
I know.
the Bonan Conservancy is the manager, the local manager of several of the trust fund reserves on Bowen Island. And they have some funding and they've got going, they're going to put a little viewing platform to help protect, so people get down to the fen but not damage the fen. So some interpretive signs and things like that. So that is on the books for this year, I think. And then, so that's 6.2, check. 6.3, oh, this is Ocean Watch. So Bonnie and I just wanted to fill you in that Bonnie and I are both on Howe Sound, Ocean Watch Howe Sound working group. And this is a working group of communities in the Howe Sound area. So with Gambier, for example, one of the chairs and the other co-chairs, a councillor from Squamish. And anyway, there's a whole bunch of us and we're working towards implementing some of the action items that are in this Ocean Watch, which is a huge big document online. But it has risks of coastal development and key issues and action plan. And then it actually has actions to do. And so this is what the working group is focusing on. We're trying to actually take the Howe Sound Forum, which has been in networking and information sharing about Howe Sound, into doing action. So we've, different communities now, for example, are contributing funds to create a marine guide, which is sort of a GIS mapping system for all these impacts, these coastal development kind of impacts and things that are happening in Howe Sound that can be used by managers or people planning for healthy cetaceans and that kind of thing. I'll go a little faster. And,
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I know it's okay. I'm working. And anyway, we're starting to do that, and so the Bowen municipality chipped in a little bit of money towards that. We've got other funders and partners and whatever, and we also passed a resolution. Council passed a resolution supporting glass sponge reef protection in Howe Sound, way down underwater. But these are those dinosaur reefs, and so that was just letting you know. 6.4, Phil's not here. Anybody else want to report from BITS? Are you on that, Christine?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just, okay, okay, not
I
gonna,
know nothing.
all right, nothing particularly to report.
Terrence, are you with this?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay, all right. We'll just leave that till next time. I just put these on in the hopes. Now we've got two more things. Disc golf and wildfire data. Wildfire data I can easily take over to another meeting. It's an information thing that I can pull out. What about the disc golf one?
So there's a proponent for disc golf on the island. I mean, more than one, but Sam Nozak is, he's an avid disc golfer, and he's wanting to put in a 9, maybe an 18, I'm not sure, course, disc golf course. And
These are frisbees that hit holes and fall into little baskets.
and there's been kind of impromptu. I mean, there's a couple of them, and there's But so he is looking around for some potential sites, and he would like us to join him at a couple potential sites for walkabout and the rec commission. He's already presented to the rec commission. The rec commission is so 100% behind him, and it sort of fits with trying to activate some of our parks, our municipal parks, and have them utilized.
I think he actually came here years ago.
He did, it was a long time ago, and it sort of died down for a while.
Right.
So that's just a walkabout. So the rec commission's requesting that we join them, and Sam is too.
Mm-hmm.
The site's yet to be determined, so could we send
This
it
would be one of those walkabouts.
probably in late January or
Yeah.
February, because Sam has to find a couple of spots that are conducive to the disc golf.
Good. So that's great. Then we've got like 3 walkabouts in January. weather allowing. One of them we set up last time for Lee Creek, and that's the one with Jeremy, you're leading this one. So we're gonna look at some of the special natural features of this piece of crown land. Where
Yeah,
it-
basically just to assess its value as an area for future trails.
Right, okay, and that's good, we're being proactive with
So what was
that.
the date on that Lee Creek one?
I think it's January
Sixth.
6th.
6 to 9:30.
Yeah,
Where's the meeting for that, Jeremy?
Somewhere close by. There's very limited parking there. That's a good question. I'm not sure the extent to which you can park along the edge of the road. There's certainly one spot you might be able to get a couple of vehicles right close by.
Could probably park down on Seymour Bay Lane.
Oh, the other option would be, there's just upslope, there was a whole bunch of blasting, and there's sort of a road that goes off that's not being used. It's just a very crude thing, but you might be
maybe
able
you
to
could
park
take
up
a
there.
photo or,
What about parking at the Seymour Bay Park and then carpooling
Carpooling
a
up?
couple of
Oh,
cars
that's
up?
another option.
Yeah.
yeah, let's do that.
And we all know where it is.
Meet at Seymour Bay Park?
Yeah,
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
9:30, and then we'll gather there and we'll go up.
Do we think it's 1 hour, 3 hour, 5 hour,
Because we get
excursion?
lost or not.
I think we should say 2. It's hard to do more than,
Yeah, remember, it's a bushwalk, so it's manageable for us, but
2 hours, let's say 2 hours, rain pants,
yeah.
that kind of thing.
There's a former trail there?
No,
Not yet,
there's no evidence of a trail or roads or
Or
anything.
like maybe you know
there
one.
at all.
I think I know one. If I'm in the right spot.
Well, not that I've run
Good.
into. There's one that crosses the corner of the property here. That's the Seymour Bay, the trail from Seymour Bay to Queen Charlotte Heights. It crosses this bit of crown land. And
There's a
it's
little tiny sign on a tree that says trail to.
down here. Oh, yeah, that's up here.
Oh, okay.